So this is it, the glossy face of motor fair here in the new Earls Court 2 hall. It cost £80 million. It's the biggest single unsupported arch in Europe, and you can park 4 jumbo jets in this place with ease. Now, initially, a lot of doubts about this year's motor fair. Car sales are down 25%. The Rover Group decided to pull out altogether. But in the event, there's an awful lot to see here at Motor Fair. I'll be out and about on the stands with Jeremy Clarkson and Nikki Fox.
Here on the Lotus stand is their new M200 Speedster. Stunning, isn't it? But it's never to be seen on the roads because it's a concept car, a way of gathering together a whole set of design and engineering ideas into one futuristic but working model. It might seem an extravagance in the face of redundancies of 1 in 3 on the production line since the Elan was launched 2 years ago. But it's hoped that many of the incorporated ideas will find their way onto showroom models of the future. Can't wait. In the showroom now is the updated Esprit, full of what Lotus call customer-led improvements, such as a more spacious interior and better visibility through the rear window. And for the new year, a user-friendly hardtop for the Elan, which can also be fitted to existing models.
Ford didn't exactly get very good press when they brought the Escort out about a year ago. It was criticised for having bland looks, a mediocre chassis and one of the worst ranges of engines to be found outside Warsaw. Well, launched here is the RS 2000.
They have been coming on, some would say too little too late, but this is the Zeta family of engines that they hope will finally crack all that criticism of their old power units. This is the 1.8-litre twin overhead camshaft engine that we can see over there in the Escort XR3i. Now, I haven't driven it yet, so I can't tell you if it really does solve all those problems. Over the next 18 months, they'll be developing 1.6 and 2-litre versions of this engine that will power the Fiesta, the Escort and the Sierra. Interestingly, no 1.4-litre unit, and I think that's a major omission from the fleet market. Now, what the criticism of the Escort at the moment does do is open a window of opportunity for Vauxhall with their new Astra. That's a car I have driven.
The word growth isn't one you hear very often in UK car sales these days, but there is one significant area of growth, and believe it or not, that's in diesels, from less than 0.5% to over 6% in 10 years. There's always been a bit of a stigma to diesel in Britain, but not so in Europe. In fact, it's the French especially who are pushing the new generation diesels. One of the latest crop is the new ZX from Citroën, announced at the show. Diesels will give you higher miles to the gallon, lower maintenance, lower depreciation and lower pollution. And if the customer can swallow the extra £800 initial cost, then the ZX could take over from the BX, which has been Britain's most popular diesel car for the last 4 years.
I'd like you to meet the new Honda Civic. Fantastic car this. Great looks, amazing build quality and a wonderful range of variable valve timing VTEC engines. And no obvious way of opening the boot. Now this is a split tailgate like you get on a Range Rover. The only thing is, there's no handle on the glass bit, so I can't for the life of me work out how to lift it up. Now, Tiff Niddell, who of course is a racing driver and therefore far cleverer than I, will be road testing this car later in the series, and doubtless he'll have it all worked out. A car that does have its full complement of handles is the new Peugeot 106. Now, this will also be road tested by someone other than me in next week's programme. Must have been something I said. Anyway, for what it's worth, I'll give you my 10 penneth now. The car is designed to fit at the very bottom of the Peugeot range. To that end, it's smaller and less expensive than the 205. However, the 205's continued good health is under serious threat because the 106 is just as spacious inside, it's faster, it's more economical, it's greener, and apparently it's safer. So just think, the 205 has fought off all those competitors over all those years, only to finally get stabbed in the back by its new baby brother.
Now, cars like this magnificent 4.5-litre blower Bentley attract the adoration of schoolboys and enthusiasts alike up here on the gallery at Motor Fair. The difference between Motor Fair and the Motor Show, you can actually buy many of the cars on display here. And they're not just museum pieces. This car was thundering around Nürburgring only 6 weeks ago, and it's for sale at a cool £500,000 if you happen to have that sort of money lying around in your hip pocket. But the stands up here are not all about great British cars.
Macho British sports cars are all very well, but I prefer macho American ones, so I've picked this 65 Mustang, and not just because it goes with my jacket. There are lots of pony cars from the mid-60s still left in America, but they're a bit more unusual here. This one has some crucial features. Firstly, you've simply got to have the 289 V8 engine, and this one's a GT as well, which is rare in the convertibles. It's got a power hood, and the 4-speed manual gearbox is less common as well. I would have liked pony trim on the seats, but if they're willing to drop their price well below £12,000, I'll ask the bank manager to consider it.
Well, if Nikki wants to zap down Route 66, knocking the crows off the telegraph wires with the sound of her hi-fi, that's just the car to do it in. Me, I'm more a traditionalist with British sports cars, and I must confess to being a sucker for a big V8. So for me, the Sunbeam Tiger takes an awful lot of beating.
Since last week, when we asked viewers to send in their ideas for improving vehicle security, we've been absolutely inundated with all kinds of weird and wonderful inventions. But Renault, who have just announced that all of their high-performance cars, including this brand new cabriolet, are soon to be fitted with an engine inhibitor system, say that the solution to the problem isn't that easy. It seems that in each of the different EEC countries, there are different laws about burglar alarms. Some say you can use the hazard warning lights, some say you can use a siren, some say you can use the horn. It's chaos.
As European manufacturer, what we need really, it's a common rule applicable in all the European countries. That's the key for us to be very efficient on that subject.
The Space Wagon. It's been a familiar sight on our roads for some years now, and this year Mitsubishi have updated it. They've also invented a little brother for the wagon. It's called the Space Runner, and I've been out driving it.
Back at the turn of the century, there was no environment. Well, there was, but it smelt of horses. Of course, this changed all that. This is the 1886 Benz Trike. Well, actually, it's a superb replica of it, but it's widely acclaimed to be the world's first internally combustion engine vehicle. Being a car fan, of course, I owe it a great debt of gratitude. If you think about it, it only took man 70 years to get from his first flight to walking on the moon. Progress in the world of cars has been a deal more pedestrian. I mean, this was where we were at in 1886, but by 1966, we'd only got here. Mind you, in my humble opinion, that's as far as we ever got, because as far as I'm concerned, this is the best car ever made. It's the Ferrari 330 GTS. Two previous owners, one of only two right-hand drive cars that ever came to Britain, and it's yours for £195,000. It's yours when the recession ends for rather a lot more.
Motor Fair is on till next Sunday. Now, if you can't make it along here, you have the chance to win 5 of the new cars on display in our Motor Fair competition. Details are in Radio Times, on sale this week. All you have to do is match what you think are the right cars for 3 characters from current television programmes. Mike Hardy from Trainer, Hyacinth from Keeping Up Appearances, and Adrian Boswell from Bread. 2 remaining clues in next week's programme. Now, for those of you who are able to get to Motor Fair, next Tuesday is Motor Sport Day. That's when a lot of the cars on the stands will be changed for race and rally models, including a car from world sports car champions Jaguar. There'll be a lot of top-name drivers here too, including our own Tiffany Dell and Tony Mason to sign autographs. But you don't have to wait till next Tuesday to meet Tony. He's here right now. So, Nikki, what was your favourite in there?
Well, a bit conventional, I'm afraid, but to drive away in something red and Italian, Ferrari 348.
Go on, Chris, what about you?
I don't think you can beat the 1938 Citroën Light 15 Roadster. It's immaculate. I'd give my eye teeth for it. What about you?
Well, my favourite wasn't even on show. My favourite is that. Now, this may look like a 1950s Cooper F1 car, but it's got a 1000cc bike engine back here. It's got a bike gearbox, and it goes like a bike. There's no wonder they call it the Rocket. Now, how does 0 to 60 in 4 seconds and a top speed of 150 miles an hour grab you? And it's all street legal. Do you want a lift, Nikki? Go on, get in. Pull my seat a little bit. Cotton glove. Perfect, right.
Well, I don't know, very exciting, but a bit impractical. Don't forget, I'm back here on Sunday with Noel Edmonds, BBC One, 5:10. See you then. In next week's programme, Peugeot redefines the small family car. Quentin Wilson offers advice on how to buy a second-hand BMW 5 Series. And how to go fast legally when the speed limit's only 40 miles an hour.